Hello, I'm Kaylee and welcome to my channel. This is my cat. So, there's a huge problem with today's society, and it stems from our spaces, the very rooms we exist in. I don't mean the color on your walls, although there is plenty of science to back up how color can affect your mood. I mean how there's no real hobby or casual meeting space anymore. Sure, you can do hobbies in your own home or meet up at a coffee shop, but many places, like Starbucks, either have a requirement that you purchase something, or there's a very strong, crippling expectation, I guess is how I would put it, that you pay for something in these coffee shops. As of now, we really have two spaces in society: our homes, where we carry out household chores and spend time with our families, and work or school. There's no real third casual space anymore. So, defined by Oldenburg as the great good places, third places are an essential component of an area's social infrastructure, i.e. the broad collection of physical places, inhabited spaces, facilities, built infrastructure, neighborhood environments, streetscapes, organizations, and institutions that facilitate social connection among people. A subcategory of the broad material foundation that supports and sustains social life, third places are specifically physical locations outside of the home that facilitate social interaction, community building, and social support. So, how exactly is this a problem? Well, an article from the National Library of Medicine explains how a decrease in third spaces such as libraries, civic and social organizations, religious centers, art centers, and especially instrument or bookstores inadvertently led to a slight collapse in public spaces. In the article, there are numerous charts, and I found that the hobby, book, and music store category had the largest decrease over the course of 2007 to 2015, with roughly a 27% decline over the course of 8 years. Adding further flame to the fire, after 2010, stores and restaurants took a hit as online shopping and takeout became much more accessible to the public. And with the pandemic in 2020 forcing people to stay at home, this skyrocketed even more. According to the report Off-Premises Restaurant Trends 2025, off-premises options are important to all consumers, but most especially Gen Z and millennials, with 51% of them saying picking up or taking out or ordering drive-through meals is essential to their lifestyles. Another 41% say they rely heavily on delivery. The article by Statista states that in the United States, for example, e-commerce has been so common that over 85% of the country's consumers have shopped for items on the web. Now, how does this affect you specifically? Well, I'm sure I'm not the only one who struggles with their mental health. In fact, both anxiety and depression have, quote, become increasingly prevalent among young adults in the US, with both disorders increasing by 63% from 2005 to 2017. Globally speaking, the World Health Organization released that in 2025, there are over 1 billion people living with a mental health disorder. Mind you, these are only the reported ones. On a more dire and physical note, according to the US Surgeon General's advisory on the healing effects of social connection and community, the lack of social connection poses a significant risk for individual health and longevity. Loneliness and social isolation increase the risk for premature death from 26% to 29%, respectively. More broadly, lacking social connection can increase the risk for premature death as much as smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. That is wild. In addition, poor or insufficient social connection is associated with an increased risk of disease, including a 29% increased risk of heart disease and a 32% increased risk for stroke. Furthermore, it is associated with an increased risk for anxiety, which we've already discussed, depression, and dementia. The lack of social connection may increase susceptibility to viruses and respiratory illnesses. That is a lot of negative effects it has on your health. A particularly poignant quote I'd like to share at this point is from the article on the Medium. It says, "Without third spaces, we retreat further into isolation, spending more time alone or confined to the structured environments of work and home. We lose the opportunity for the casual, unstructured interactions that form the basis of many friendships, and this isolation is taking a toll." I think if we all can remember back to COVID, we all struggled a lot in that isolation period. And that was just an unfortunately condensed timeline of this whole increase in isolation. So now that we have a clear idea of what third spaces are, how they have declined, and how exactly this decline affects you, let's talk about what you can do to remedy this, because there are things you can do to help. My first suggestion, especially given my love for literature and the rapid defunding of public libraries we're facing here in America, is to go visit a library. Oftentimes they're free to access, and they're great spaces not only to meet people, but there's also a lot of activities that they do, and of course they're a great space for any research you want to carry out. Recently, the library at my campus had a Sherlock Holmes inspired escape room, which was really cool, and then they also did a book exchange, which I didn't get to go to, but I'm sure that was neat as well. Another space I'd recommend, although not free, is a coffee shop. I don't mean just Starbucks here, although Starbucks and Dunkin' are an option. I recommend you look out for any small coffee shops near you. There's one in the area where I live, and they have a really, really good frozen lemonade in the summertime, and you can add in all these syrups to it, and I love to add in blue raspberry. That's the best flavor, honestly. Now, back to the topic at hand. While coffee shops do have a small barrier of entry, and that being cost, they are another great way to exist outside of the home or your work, either by yourself or with others for a long period of time, which is really nice. Another great place are local parks, either neighborhood parks or state or national parks. These are another thing that are being defunded, unfortunately. Now, sometimes you do have to pay for entry, especially for state parks. I know the state park near me has a lot of deals and free days, so I suggest that you look into those, because it's really helpful when you can just sneak right in for free. These make a fantastic space year-round, yes, but especially in the warmer months. A few other spaces I can think of are malls, craft stores, bookstores, or libraries, museums, and as a last resort, commercial stores. Sometimes all you need is to just walk through the aisles, look at stuff, and yap with your friend, pausing your conversation with a little, "That's so cute," and then putting the item back. That's the best. Honestly, I love to go to stores. I love looking at the little holiday items and the trinkets and the useless but very cute knickknacks. I think the more of a hazard it is to walk through the aisles, the better, given you don't knock anything off. If you have any other third space recommendations, please comment them down below. I'd love to hear what you suggest. These examples are just a few of my favorites. Additionally, if you have any qualms or comments to discuss or debate with this video, please also write those down below. I'm quite open to any feedback you might have, especially as my aim is to create a truthful and open-minded academic environment here on YouTube. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're really inclined, hit the subscribe button for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day, or if it's evening for you, a cozy night. So goodbye for now, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Say bye to the viewers, buddy. Bye. Bye guys, thank you for watching.